Today we look at Maya, who has aggression issues, and what we're going to do might seem odd, but I'll explain as we go along. So let's jump right into it. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell so you get notified when we upload videos. Maya is a boxer mix who has been rescued by one of my good clients and has some aggression issues towards people. Now, the first part of this video was me approaching Maya, so I'm the one filming and sitting in front of her. But in the hallway is my assistant, Henry, who is slowly inching his way to the same room we're in. My instructions to the owner are what we call a DRL, so it's a Differential Reinforcement of Low probability. Basically, that means we're going to reinforce Maya for barking less and reacting less. We will introduce touch because she already knows this behavior, but first she has to decrease her response. Now, I told a client that it took a long time with me, but she's been practicing, and so it should take less time with Henry, which it actually did, so stick till the end. I changed places so we can better see Maya react. The owner is to my right, and to my left is the door to the room. I am leaning up against the wall. So that you see, really quickly, Maya was able to go and lie down, which is pretty amazing. Now, she's still barking, she's still reacting, but remember, we're trying to decrease her reaction, not eliminate it. That will come in the future. Notice Maya laid down. That means she's a little bit more comfortable with me in the room and with Henry approaching. This is what practice does. So we're still reinforcing lower probabilities of barking and reacting, but also the client's going to start asking for a few touches here and there. Working tells the dog that the behavior it's doing is good. Plus, we know, scientifically speaking, that the dopamine is highest as the dog is working. Our click just ends the behavior, and the reward is kind of like a little paycheck at the end. So her working is actually reinforcing her own behavior. As Henry inches his way into the room, Maya reacts more. This is absolutely normal, and you will see that as soon as she stops barking and reacting for a bit, like milliseconds, the client is going to reward her. So there you go. Nice little click and treat. And then, yes, Maya will restart barking again, but you'll see that her responses is actually decreasing over time. There we go. Perfectly executed. Now, this video is raw footage. The only cuts that you see is because I zoomed in to see Maya better. But it is an entire training session that lasts about 17 minutes. When I came in, that lasted 35 to 40 minutes, so it was pretty long. But now that she's been practicing, her reactions towards Henry coming into the room decrease over time. Plus, this kind of training is very tiring because we are not using lures. We're letting Maya think. We're letting her manage her emotions and rewarding her for it. Lures don't allow dogs to do that. It's just food in their face and they react because there's food in their face. But in this case, food in her face is not going to work because Henry's more threatening than a little piece of cheese or hot dog can be rewarding for her. If you watched some of the videos or you've been following us on social media and throughout this channel, you know that in our school it is forbidden to use lures because we're trying to reinforce the animals to think and manage themselves. And you can see that Maya is doing really well. And about this time, Henry's about halfway through the corridor, which is approximately, 12, 15 feet long. Now, here's a little note. If Maya doesn't eat the treat, we still give it. It's in her crate. If she wants to eat it, I'm sorry about my finger there, but if she wants to eat it, it's all up to her. But we still reinforce. I like it because she's calming down, her body's getting a little bit more relaxed, and she will eventually lay down again. And so as Henry moves, this is a trigger for her, but she knows that if she's quiet and not barking and relaxing, then she gets treats. We're aware that Maya is getting tired and most likely thirsty. When we leave, one of the biggest rewards she's going to receive is open the crate door and go drink some water and then have some snuggle time with her owner. And that is a reward. A reward is not always about food. If that's what you believe, then it's a wrong belief. A reward is any primary need or whatever the dog wants. So play can be a primary need for certain breeds. On our next approach, I'm going to ask Henry to step closer. I want to close the gap between half the hallway and the entrance to the room by at least half, if not more. So now she's chilling, a little bit cool. So I told Henry to stay, just wait. And then Maya will relax a little bit. And then I'm going to proceed and tell him to come forward. And you're going to hear that in the background. So in 5 seconds, I'm going to ask Henry to come forward. Now you notice Maya's behavior goes back to its reaction, but what I want you to pay attention here is how fast she can actually bounce back from this situation. Now Maya is still barking, don't get me wrong, but she's going to focus on the client faster, and that's exactly what we want. We want to reinforce Maya for making the right decision. You're allowed to bark, you're allowed to manifest your, disagreement with the situation. However, we will only reinforce you when you cooperate with us, thus decreasing the problematic behavior. Now, I know for some clients, working on differential reinforcement of low probability might seem like we're purposefully, rewarding the dog for barking and reacting negatively, but we are working on those small increments where the dog is decreasing its response. And we'll do this throughout time, and eventually Maya will stop reacting so much. Note that while we're doing this, I am instructing the client on when to click. Sometimes I click myself because I believe that was appropriate, but it's a teamwork, and working with dogs requires cooperation. Some clients prefer that we blur out their faces because they don't want to be internet famous, and I absolutely understand and respect that.
She's doing good.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you find this good?
Because she's reducing, she's bouncing back, she's getting tired. Well, we're not going to make her perfect in one day, but good girl. I can take just a moment. Because when she's barking the head up and all that, she's emotionally gone. But when she comes back, then even if it's still barking and it's still reacting, it's less. So we're telling her you're allowed to react, which is going to reinforce less and less and less. And as he's coming in closer, then she gets more tired. Thus it becomes harder for her to put all this energy into that. Good girl. I can do. Good girl. So by the time he comes in, she'll react again, but she'll most likely bounce back faster than when I came in.
Are you tired? You're probably thirsty.
Yeah. Well, when we leave, then opening the crate and going to water will be a gigantic reward, because the door will be a reward and drinking will be a reward. So you'll have a double. Right? You can always wait for her to. I'm sure when we leave, she'll calm down a little bit quickly. So when this is gone, she's emotionally gone right now. Hey, puppies. 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 Hello. Good girl. Good girl. Do you want to come in, Henry? She's gonna lose it. Just don't look at her and do sideways.
Like you love him, he's your buddy.
Good girl. Good girl. I don't care if she's coughing. She's stopped. It works. Good girl. Yeah, straight. Yeah, just swallow before you bark, because it feels like projectiles. Good girl.
Every time I moved or I
Beautiful, beautiful.
breathe in.
Yep. Good girl. Who's my good girl? Who my good girl?
Good girl.
So I told you she would react less than when I initially came in.
Yeah.
Because now she's learned that this bark, 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 bark is not getting her anything, but this calm and quiet is. So, good girl. Beautiful. Beautiful.
I did your buddy.
Good girl.
Very cool.
So basically what we're doing is what's called a differential reinforcement of lower probability, which means that we're reinforcing less reaction step by step so that we get to no reaction whatsoever. Good girl. There you go.
Yay, good. Only looking at mom right now.
Which is fine because that's
Yeah.
she's safety. Mom is the safety net. And I'd rather she look at mom than charge somebody. Good girl. Good girl. Hey.
Do I come closer?
You can kneel down. It's okay.
He's your friend.
Good girl. Good girl.
He's your friend.
I know my high pitch is annoying, but I'm just trying to prevent her from barking and going back into a loop. There you go. Who's a pretty girl?
Good. Very good.
Good. So in this, pardon? I don't know. My watch died.
Oh, okay. I thought that you saw it on your phone.
It's
5:30.
5:27.
So I wanted to say two things. Hold
Sorry.
on. Bummer. Anyway, yeah, when we leave, just let her relax a few minutes. Then opening the door will be reinforcing, and then going to the water bowl will be also reinforcing. You don't need to give her any treats because she's had enough. And then you can, make it over exaggerate how proud you are of her by doing all this. But yeah, what she's doing is learning that barking and reacting is not going to get you anything. The person's not going to go away. Nothing will change. She will have to change. And by just reinforcing lower probabilities, we're telling her where to go, which is calm and quiet, ideally. Like, she's not enamored with us. I mean, we move, she'll bark again. That's all fine. Oh yeah, I just remembered what I wanted to say. Is that when we move with dogs that are reactive like this, it becomes very important that it becomes predictable. So I've been sitting here for a while, Henry arrived, he's crouching, so that by the time I'm ready to leave, I have to tell her I'm going to move again.
Okay.
We're all going to move. So by telling her, she'll focus on us, and then it'll become predictable. It doesn't mean she won't bark, but right now she's ignoring us. She's like, I don't want, I'll just focus on mom. Mom's my safety. Mom's helping me. But when we move, then we become unpredictable again. So that becomes...
And you just say her name?
I just say her name, and then I ramble on. Sometimes I describe what I'm going to do, which to her doesn't mean anything, but it's soft and it's cute, and it just makes it predictable that I'm doing something. So they're less likely to react overly, like as she did when I came in, when it's overreaction. She'll bark again, but less.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Here I'm explaining what Henry is going to do once I'm not present. So I was kind of rambling on and it wasn't very clear, so I decided to do the voiceover instead. Basically, when Henry goes to work with Maya, he's going to ring the doorbell. This will trigger Maya. The owner is instructed to bring Maya to her crate, close the door, and then Henry will proceed forward into the room. The client is the one that's going to be doing the training in the process until Henry gets into the room. Now that can happen quickly or that can happen very slowly. It depends on the day, the situation, the weather. It depends on multiple factors. But here we are really trying to train the client on how to manage and retrain Maya in the process with strangers. Now, Henry is somebody she knows, but because she won't see him initially, she won't know who it is. So Henry's the trigger until he gets into the room, and then he can assist the client in, training and coaching her through the steps to see how she's doing, to perfect, or whatever else needs to be addressed.
Girl. on what's happening instead of going back to the bark, 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 bark. So she'll be able to guide you into the hallway. So if she says like 2 steps, 3 steps, but as time goes by and the closer you get to the door, the less she's going to react.
And then, do we just end it there?
Yeah,
Or
on a super good success.
okay, so she wouldn't come out.
She wouldn't come out. The goal right now is to get her to get you to at least be able to control her, put her in there, and eventually when the doorbell rings, she won't. Well, she'll bark because she's a guard dog, but eventually she'll stop quickly because I'm in my crate. Nothing's gonna happen.
Okay.
And then you can deal with what's happening at the door, and then come and release her when you're ready.
This is more easily praticable with friends because she's locked away.
Yeah, and you can.
So does she need exposure to different people?
Yes.
To do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because if we keep doing it, she'll be excited to do this. She'll like, oh, these people bring me treats. I'll just sit here and be quiet.
Okay.
So the novelty of people will definitely help her start processing. Oh yeah, when there's people in my house. Okay, I announced that somebody rang. I did my job. You tell her you did your job. Now you can go to your crate. Here it likes to utter like 2-3 woofs with her final woof, woof, woof. Like that's her protesting being in the crate. But it stops relatively quickly because nothing happens. She's in her crate. I got to deal with whatever's at the door, and that's it. So that's going to be a positive association, and eventually she'll be more comfortable and won't necessarily need to go in her crate. People will be.
You think she'll get there?
I don't know, because she's 8, so she's already a bit older, so time's not necessarily in our favor. But that would be the goal, yes, is to be able to meet people, even if it's on the leash and you feel more comfortable, but at least you will have more control over her and you'll feel more confident that if I need you to go into your crate and stay there while I deal with whoever's there, then that's fine. Yeah, we can go now.
Well, she goes in here fairly easily.
Yeah.
Like, she'll go to the door, but when I out her, she tries to go on the pillow over there, or eventually she comes here. Like that, getting her in here is not a huge problem.
Well, that's good.
But she doesn't necessarily stay if the door's open.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can close.
If you close the door, it'll put everybody at ease.
Yeah.
And then you can practice them coming in. So friends, you can say, you know what, grab a chair, let's both have a beer. And do this for a while. Exactly. But when she's calm, you click and treat, and then she'll stop reacting, relatively quickly. She's tired. She's exhausted. Yeah, we're done.